our country. In recent years, we have witnessed an unprecedented spike in terrorist travel. There are more terrorist hotspots and foot soldiers now than almost any time in modern history. In Syria and Iraq, for instance, we have thousands of jihadist fighters that have converged from more than 120 countries. As a military machine acting in coalition with and leading many other like-minded partners, as they succeed on the battlefield in the caliphate in Iraq and Syria, these jihadi fighters are returning home to Europe, South Asia, Southeast Asia, Australia, and even the Western Hemisphere. And who knows what they're up to, but we can guess. They are heading to what they think are safe havens to continue their plotting and otherwise advance their toxic ideology of hate, death, and intolerance wherever they are allowed to hide. We expect that some will look to travel to the United States to carry out attacks. With this context in mind, the President has issued clear direction in the form of an executive order to the entire executive branch to prevent the entry of aliens who seek to do us harm. But the current court injunction, of course, prevents us from taking steps right now to improve the security of the homeland until we see how that court action plays out. While some discuss, debate, and argue the name, title, or label that best describes the President's EO, professional men and women like me are actually in the business of implementing the President's intent to secure the nation, and we are doing that. We'll let the chattering class and self-appointed critics talk about the name. I just hope the Congress sees the wisdom in what the President is trying to do to protect America and its people, and that the Congress are willing to work with those of us in the business of securing the nation. And it's been my experience in less than 4 months on the job that the Congress is in fact committed to that. The court's injunction has prevented us from implementing a temporary ban on travel by aliens from 6 countries that are in states of civil war, are state sponsors of terrorism, and are basically failed states. They are the same countries identified by the Congress in previous administration in 2015 as nations of great concern. At the time, the expectation was that those in the business of securing the nation lawfully would focus additional attention on these nations and others in similar circumstances for supplementary and accurate vetting. It has nothing to do with religion or skin color or the way they live their lives, but all about security for the United States and nothing else. These are countries that are either unable or unwilling to help us validate the identities and backgrounds of persons within their borders. I can tell you right now, because of the injunctions, I am not fully confident that we're doing the best all that we can to weed out potential wrongdoers from these locations. The injunction also prevents me from actually looking into the information that we need from each country to conduct proper screening, not just from the 6 countries identified in the executive order, but from every country across the globe. It also prevents me from conducting a review under the executive order with the goal of improving the security of our refugee program. Bottom line, I've been enjoined from doing these things that I know would make America safe, and I anxiously await the court to complete its action one way or the other so I can get to work. The men and women of DHS will do everything we can, and always, always, always within the law, to keep the American people safe. But the delay has prevented us from doing that, what I and those most familiar with the reality of the threats we face believe we need to do to protect our homeland.